Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and being a football manager is about as difficult as being a teenage dog walker, right? Honestly, the job is about as easy as selling ice cream at a beach. Being a football manager at an elite European club, easiest job in the world, right? Well, that's the impression I'm getting, because everywhere you look right now, the massive clubs in Europe are no longer headhunting the brilliant tactical minds of the game. No, apparently it's enough to just go out there and pick a popular ex-pro. We've seen it, like when Juventus gave the reins to the pathetically inexperienced Andrea Pirlo, which is like setting a 16-year-old virgin up on a date with Katie Price. The poor fella probably have his head ripped off his shoulders. If we were just to delete the fact that these men were club legends as players, because let's be honest, that is irrelevant to being a good manager, then alright then, let me tell you what the narrative is. Maybe this will prove how wacky this has become. Right. 2 years ago, Chelsea replaced Maurizio Sarri with a 40-year-old man who just bottled the championship playoff with Derby County. Lads, Steve McLaren did that. Would Roman Abramovich offer the gig to him? No, he'd probably rather set fire to his wife. Frank Lampard was on the same Ipswich Town shortlist as Paul Lambert. Does that not prove that to the rest of the footballing world, he was about as appealing as a bowl of horse knobs? Sarri must be the most aggrieved manager on the planet. He keeps losing his job to inexperienced children. Honestly, when he eventually gets the boot at Lazio, honestly, watch it. They'll probably give the gig to Lucas Leiva. Right, Manchester United currently employ a former Molde coach who is sacked at Cardiff City. Yeah. He lost his job to Russell Slade, someone who now works as a consultant at Stevenage. Honestly, Solskjaer has a managerial CV on par with Henning Berg. You know, that walking egg who's now coaching in Cyprus? Listen, I know Chelsea won the Champions League with Roberto Di Matteo in charge, but make no mistake about it, the club gave the job to a former boss of MK Dons. A guy who'd just been sacked by West Brom. Honestly, Di Matteo has a similar CV to Paul Ince. Would Paul Ince get that Chelsea job? Again, no. Abramovich would probably rather stick a fork in his windpipe. I mean, I'm not done there. This is a worldwide epidemic. Monaco replaced their title-winning coach, Leonardo Jardim, with Belgium's assistant manager. What was so special about that? Lads, Graham Jones spent 11 years as Roberto Martinez's number 2, and he wound up failing at Luton Town. So what did Monaco expect from Henry? I mean, in recent years, AC Milan gave the gig to a coach from Pisa, and someone whose next job will be Shenzhen FC. 3 years ago, a Dutch giant like PSV replaced Philip Cocu with the assistant manager of Australia. I mean, even Newcastle tried to rescue themselves from a relegation battle by rigging up a BBC pundit. 3 years ago, Real Madrid replaced Julian Lopetegui with another managerial virgin who's now coaching in Mexico. Even a big club like Celtic replaced a tactically visionary like Brendan Rodgers with some ginger hobbit sacked at Bolton. Arsenal replaced a 3-time Europa League champion with somebody who spent 3 years fetching Pep Guardiola his morning coffee. Do you see how ridiculous these appointments seem when you remove their reputation as a player? This is fashionable, it's in vogue, I have no earthly idea why. It hurts my brain trying to justify these decisions. Your reputation as a player should count for utterly nothing. It's why in 2004 Chelsea went out and appointed Jose Mourinho. You know, not Dennis Wise. It's why Man City fetched Pep Guardiola in 2016 instead of giving the gig to Danny Mills. Again, Liverpool picking Jurgen Klopp in 2015 instead of replacing Rodgers with Robbie Fowler. Well now, Barcelona Football Club, one of the greatest sporting institutions on the planet, have headhunted a manager from the Qatar Stars League. I mean, just ignore the fact that his name is Xavi Hernandez. Ignore the fact he's one of the greatest footballers of all time, because honestly, his first touch isn't going to help him out of this jam. Let's be honest, what experience does he have in coaching elite footballers? Because out on the beaches of the Middle East, sure, he got to pick an overweight Sandy Cazorla, who at the age of 36 has probably given up. Now probably just tucks into 7 cheeseburgers for every match. But now, Xavi, the man's been linked with fixing Barcelona's problems by signing someone called Baghdad Bouneja. Yeah, I realize this man's stats in Qatar are ridiculous. 169 goals in 165 games. Those are alien type stats. Placed about 3 years ago, the guy scored 48 goals in 35 matches. That is unheard of. But he's an Algerian striker who turns 30 in 2 weeks and only has experience of playing in the Qatar Stars League, the Tunisian League and the Algerian League. Suddenly, tell him to step into the shoes of Lionel Messi whilst living 40,000 miles away from home, and he'd probably have a nervous breakdown. Yes, I know Xavi just created the Qatar's answer to the Invincibles, winning the league unbeaten. It's impressive, but I'm sorry. This is a league where the European players now have the ambition of a shoe. I mean, the standard of this league is so easy, the likes of Toby Alderweireld and James Rodriguez could honestly probably eat their dinner during the match. Honestly, James could dribble past 6 players and round the goal goalkeeper whilst chewing on a pepperoni sandwich. I have no doubt about that. This is a division where the likes of Jonathan Kodja and Nabil Elzar, yes, remember him? That Liverpool pancake? Yeah, he's still alive. It's a league where these overweight oatcakes rival for the golden boot. Xavi won the league last season. Great. But Michael Laudrup did that 6 years ago, and he was a Champions League winning legend at the new camp. So why don't you offer him the job? Is it because it's no longer sexy to appoint a guy who used to pick John Joe Shelby every week? The leagues in Qatar and China, they are the divisions where you run away from European football to gobble a bunch of money. They are the wastelands which open their arms to the likes of Chris Koeman. You don't find elite managers in Qatar. People might say,
oh, Xavi's done a brilliant job in Qatar. You don't watch his team every week.
No, you're damn right I don't. Tuning in to watch that quality of football, I'd rather iron my own eyes. Don't you dare tell me Xavi was picked on managerial merit. I mean, Jamal Belmadi won the Qatar Stars League 4 times. Clearly there's a guy who was inspired by Kevin Keegan tactics while at Man City. But did any European giants start fishing around him? No, because most people don't even know who he is. Listen, I won't deny that 2021 season from Al Sadd was monstrous. They scored 77 goals in 22 games. That is an average of 3.5 goals a match. They scored 7 goals or more 4 times in one season. That is ridiculous. But they were dumped out of the Asian Champions League by Persepolis from Iran. And the previous year, they traveled to the glittering, glamorous FIFA Club World Cup and were spanked 6-2 by a team from Tunisia. This is Xavi ball. In the Champions League, they lost 4-1 home to Al Hilal when Bafatimi Gomi chewed through their defense as if it was made of horse meat. And lads, he's nearly as old as Xavi. I don't want to hear any hipster discussions that Xavi is a brilliant tactical gem. Don't kid yourselves. If this guy was born in Saudi Arabia and had the first touch of a melted pancake, then not a single person on planet Earth would be using his managerial CV or invincible Al Sadd record as reason for him getting the Barcelona job. I mean, apparently the guy turned down the chance to coach Brazil. Okay then, well clearly the Brazilian FA are also a bunch of hopeless football romantics then. And there I'm being generous because, to put it bluntly, they're clearly a bunch of naive old men who hand out prestigious jobs based on nothing more than reputation as a player. Why are we not surprised? It's a country which hired Dunga twice. The first being when he was 43 years old. Learning on the job was coach of Brazil. It wound up with him being hounded out in 2010 after choosing not to bring Neymar to the World Cup. Yeah, that's all the proof I need that he's got sticky marshmallow for brains. And I can't be the only one who thinks it's interesting that the FA of Brazil and Barcelona have the same policy of just lazily hiring former players. Well, is it any surprise that this continuously harking back to the past wound up getting Brazil smashed 7-1 by the Germans, and with Barcelona, they lost to the Germans 8-2. Thomas Muller chewed both defenses for breakfast. That's an interesting symmetry. Admit it, Barca. You've just gone for another popular ex-player choice to appease the fans. He's never coached a single match in European football in his life. The guy he's replacing, another Barcelona legend of Ronald Koeman, he's been a manager for nearly 30 years. He left a prestigious international job for this. No, I'm not saying Koeman's the answer, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have been sacked, but what is so special about Xavi? What is he actually gonna do other than smile at the fans and just be a constant reminder of better times? Webster's dictionary defines the word savvy
as shrewdness and practical knowledge, the ability to make good judgments.
Well, so far, Xavi has come into the job, introduced a set of 10 rules about timekeeping, banned Gerard Piqué from doing an interview on TV, and has ordered the club to re-sign Dani Alves just the half a decade after the club dumped him like a stale egg McMuffin. I know he just won the Olympics, but really? This is just clearly an example of trying to desperately cling on to the past. I'm sorry, are we just forgetting that Barcelona's finances are about as healthy as Jonah Hill's diet? This man is going to beat in Barcelona what Clarence Seedorf was to AC Milan. Just an embarrassing, out of his depth managerial footnote that everyone would like to forget ever happened. Yes, he could turn into the second coming of Zinedine Zidane, maybe, but Zidane walked into an already elite dressing room full of champions. Xavi, do you reckon he's looking forward to using Luke de Jong? Yes, the contract renewal of Pedri was an important moment, and he's definitely someone who the club will try and mould into the next Xavi, or at the very least the next Cesc Fabregas. But lads, if Xavi was stepping into a healthy club, like immediately after a treble win, then you know what? Yeah, he'd probably be able to steer the ship in the right direction. I mean, you don't really need utter tactical brilliance to get the best out of MSN. Just stick the 3 of them on the pitch and you'll be fine. Price well, even a tactical bird brain like Ernesto Valverde still managed to stumble his way to 2 La Liga titles. But this, it's the hardest job in the world. Trying to restore glory to a broken club choking on their own debt. This is arguably the darkest chapter in the modern history of the club. It needs an experienced, unglamorous manager to steady the ship, not a novice. Christ love, it's a job tailor-made for Louis van Gaal. Yes, his brand of football makes you want to stick a knife up your nose. Yes, his last spell at Barcelona was seen as a disaster after he dumped fan favourite Rivaldo, but I'm sorry, this was a summer when Rivaldo was on the verge of joining Sam Allardyce at Bolton. And LVG's plan was to replace this decrepit bag of bones with Juan Roman Riquelme. Sure, back in 2003 that seemed laughable, but are we just forgetting how good Riquelme turned out to be at Villarreal? And I'd imagine the Dutch FA losing 2 managers to Barcelona in quick succession would probably cause the hierarchy to sneeze blood out their face. Which still, this man is an experienced coach who knows how to handle a crisis. He took over a David Moyes-shaped disaster at Manchester United and dragged them kicking and screaming back into the top 4 before winning the FA Cup. That's what the club needs, some defensive reorganisation. Maybe so they won't let 3-0 lead slip at Celta Vigo, for Christ above. Just a solid stopgap to keep them in the Champions League for the next few seasons, allowing them to silently rebuild. But at risk, a gamble like Xavi, you could honestly wind up finishing 8th in the goddamn league. The cash flow of regular European football might actually be deleted from this club's agenda. And is this what we want to see happen? The club being turned into a mid-table team forever? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Xavi will be an inspired Guardiola-esque choice, but to me, bringing in an inexperienced coach from the deserts of Qatar sounds about as clever as licking cheese off a mouse's scrotum. Anyway, that's it, fellas. Let me know what do you think. Alright, is Xavi a good choice? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.